It's another day, and that means more activists are melting down over the fact that gamers are willing to speak with their wallets and not support products that they do not feel passionately about. And now the gamer has published an article titled, "Hi, I'm an idiot who's mad about everything in video games except the layoffs," which is absolutely hilariously pathetic. I have a few things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or through YouTube memberships. Now, obviously, there has been a lot of backlash surrounding Assassin's Creed Shadows and some of the decisions that they made, like with Yasuke being a lead character, being one of the playable characters, and then having a female as the other. And of course, this has sparked a lot of meltdowns from activists who were furious with the fact that we're not just shutting up and consuming product, and the gamer decided to publish this article. Now, it's by Mike Drucker, and if you don't know who he is, which you probably don't, he is an Emmy-nominated TV writer and comedian. I thought you had to be funny to be a comedian, and well, he's Emmy-nominated, not a winner, but he decided to write this article for them. It says, "I'm starting to feel like I hate video games." These people have always hated video games. Starting, activists have never liked our industry and our sphere, but at least they're admitting to it, which of course we can use against them. They think that this is a hilarious article, but it's not. It's absolutely freaking pathetic. It says, "I never thought I'd say these words, but here we are. The hobby I've loved my whole life is being ruined by greedy decisions made by selfish people." Yeah, and people like me and other gamers want to be able to focus on that. We want to be able to call that out, but we also have to call out companies who are forcing DEI initiatives into their company and who are, artificially adding themes and narratives to products that we do not want to support. If developers could just simply create good games again, we would only be talking about things like greed in the industry, like Ubisoft charging $110 or $130 for the higher tiers of Assassin's Creed Shadows, and them locking missions behind a paywall, behind the season pass day freaking one. We're also calling that out, but you're not. "The hobby I've loved my whole life is being ruined," he says. "Whether it's evil or stupidity, video games are being destroyed by the very people who claim to make them. As much as I want to stay excited and engaged as a fan, I'm afraid that some of these corporate decisions have made me want to leave gaming entirely. I'm disgusted, I'm upset, I'm offended." You guys are upset and offended over literally everything. "Wait, layoffs? What layoffs? No, I'm sorry, let me clarify. I'm an idiot who's mad at everything except the layoffs." People have been talking about the layoffs for months at this point. Honestly, the layoffs have been going on for over a year. They've just gotten extremely noticeable recently because so many companies are doing them. There's only so many times you can talk about the layoffs, but when we're talking about the culture war, we're talking about tons of different games like discourse and controversy and backlash and drama surrounding things like Stellar Blade and Tales of Kenzara Zhao, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, Star Wars Outlaws, Assassin's Creed Shadows. We're talking about tons of different games that are entirely unique situations. That's why we're constantly talking about culture war topics. If you actually knew anything about the video game industry, you would know that. And of course, because this is a direct attack on content creators like me and gamers like you, I think it's extremely important to point out the facts. People like me have been covering the layoffs. Square Enix is screwed. Major layoffs. Gaming industry's uncertain future. Microsoft admits Blizzard layoffs indicate falling profits. Game devs lose their minds and scream in defense of SBI and against layoffs. Rockstar devs roasted for complaining about return to office as industry faces record high layoffs. I mean, there are tons of different videos just on my channel alone and different tweets from me alone, never mind other people that are covering this situation, but they don't actually want to provide facts or evidence that, people are just screaming about what they deem as culture war nonsense, but it just proves that this is another self-important loser who thinks they're funny, trying to gaslight us into thinking the culture war isn't real. You're comedy just comes off as fucking lunacy. They also bring up Gina Carano saying, namely making an endless series of 90-minute long videos, which I call every new popular piece of media woke unless it features Gina Carano looking straight into the camera and saying slurs. She has never done that. Of course, you think you're very funny, but you're actually not. They bring up the Assassin's Creed situation, saying, oh my gosh, it has a black character. The world is ending. These people are losing their minds. Talking about Warhammer. Hang on, I'm angry about Warhammer again. Yes, people are angry with the fact that they decided to also try to gaslight us, saying, oh no, there's always been female custodies, even though that's not the case. They were called the Brotherhood. There had never been any evidence pointing to the fact that there were females. Also, Stellar Blade. We were upset that Stellar Blade was censored. Censorship is a very real phenomenon that is happening within the video game industry. It's so sad to see this happen. And this article is absolutely freaking pathetic. I mean, what outlet would let this get published? Not only is it a hit piece on gamers, the very people they need to read their website, but it is also a clearly unhinged attack on Mark Kern. They mention, a specific line in here about him and the rest of us who have simply tried to defend our hobby. Right, here's the little comment. I'm sorry, you want to talk more about Assassin's Creed? No, I'm already over that. I forgot that game existed 5 seconds ago when a former game designer pushing 60 told me who to be mad at next. Of course, people cannot really accept the fact that Mark Kern has a lot of popularity on social media and people actually respect him. Unlike them, nobody respects, Mike Drucker over here. Again, a nominated writer, not a winner though. And, of course he fancies himself a comedian, but no matter how many times you put ha 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 funny or comedian in your bio, it doesn't make you likable. He thinks this meltdown is okay because it's supposed to be hilarious, but it isn't. You're not a comedian. You're a lunatic. It's that plain and simple. This is what happens when the message is questioned. People like this are so protective of it that they'll lash out like children whenever criticism is levied towards them or what they care about. They are afraid of people fighting against DEI narratives that have affected the industry. And of course, they're trying to gaslight people like me and you for engagement because they're so desperate for views, and it is pathetic. Everything said in this is out of context. They don't want to actually talk about what our argument in the culture war is, our side of things. They only care about protecting their precious narrative consultation companies and their ESG scores. Lots of layoffs in the industry are because games didn't sell. No one's buying Alan Wake 2s and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice Leagues and Tales of Kanzara Zows. And why didn't these games sell? Because people are sick and tired of the bullshit they're shoving into our entertainment. This is what happens when social justice warriors feel like they're losing. They make you think that you're crazy or what you're complaining about is stupid, and then they rant and rave like lunatics. It's okay when they do it, but it's not okay when we do it. And again, people are talking about the layoffs. People are talking about greed. People are talking about the absolute state of the industry, but to put up an article like this just proves that the gamer is absolutely pathetic, that this Journo activist, comedian, whatever he wants to call himself this day of the week, is also a massive loser, and that they don't actually understand what gamers are upset about in the industry, what gamers care about, and they're not actually listening to us because they would know we have been trying to call out companies who are doing massive layoffs and letting go complete studios that are making really amazing games and who have in the past, like with Hi-Fi Rush, for example. It's sad, it's pathetic, but it's expected at this point that a website called The Gamer is constantly attacking the gamers and the very people they need to read their articles. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.